It's time for the absolutely... I'm on my way! Completely! I'm almost there! Random! Why are there so many stairs? Podcast! Oh, jeez! With Andrew Rhodes.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Absolutely Completely Random Podcast for Saturday, February 26, 2022. I'm your host, Andrew Rhodes, as always, here on the Web Designer 18 YouTube channel. And what do I got in store this week? Well, believe it or not, this week was kind of weak on topics. Oh, okay, well, I'm not going to talk about the elephant in the room. I mean, we all know my policy on this channel, but still, this week's been kind of light, ironically. Anyway, this week I'm going to be talking about the live-action Beyblade movie. Oh yeah, that just makes me feel oh so good inside. A thief bursts through the wall of a local game store, stealing $250,000 worth of Pokemon cards. Oh yeah, that's going to be good. Hey, believe it or not, if you're a mobile gamer, chances are you might actually be a hardcore strategist. There's something you could put down on a resume. Maybe. I don't know. And to pretty much fulfill I kind of do this like once a year sort of deal. But remember, this is just a topic I found interesting. So the Gantz creator, okay, is claiming that the first ever anime breast bounce debuted in 1983. So, interesting? I want to say interesting. Just for some reason, that's interesting. You can claim this. Okay. But all this and more this week on the Absolutely Completely Random Podcast. But I'm sure you know the song and dance by now. If you're interested in oddities, collectibles, weird shit, whatever has you floating your boat at night, come check out my eBay page. That's ARHOADS-2012 on eBay. I have a wide variety of crap for sale. One person's trash is always another person's treasure on the worldwide flea market that is eBay. I mean, where else can you find half a dozen items that probably never thought could exist and probably still don't realize exist? But here's the thing. They're cool, they're hip, they're now, and wow. Oh, wait, sorry, that's a Five Below thing, I think. Well, yeah, no, screw that, yeah. No, strike that. But anyway, go on, swing by my eBay page. It's ARHOADS-2012 on eBay. Don't forget, while you're also out there, come on by and check me out over on Twitter, @OtakuRhodes. That's the @ capital OTAKU, capital RHOADS over on Twitter. I am also on Facebook on the Web Designer 18 Facebook page. Come by, check that out. And don't forget, if you want to help support the channel, we do have Ko-fi and Patreon. That's right. You can find links to those in the About Me section here on my channel. And, just don't forget standard YouTube stuff like comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell so that you can be made aware of when new videos drop right here on the Web Designer 18 YouTube channel. I mean, seriously, it's a lot of fun here. So this is the part where I usually go about how my week went. So I got my mom into Doctor Who. It's kind of an oddity. I kind of got her into Doctor Who in a way. I showed her some clips, and I showed her some of the review and analysis from Clever Dick Films. She's kind of getting into it, I think. I'm pretty much going to go through, because I'm out of stuff to show her for the time being. And granted, with everything going on right now, vis-a-vis, life, money-wise, and everything else, I mean, I'm looking to try to find some other stuff outside of it, but for the time being, it's one of those I need a break from the mundane, and it's like I'm trying to broaden her horizons a bit. I was never able to do this when Grandpa was around, but I can do it now. But yeah, so I'm been showing her a lot of the Clever Dick Films review and analysis, some clips from Doctor Who. She's actually kind of been enjoying it. She likes David Tennant, though, the 10th Doctor. That's her favorite so far. Well, it's my all-time favorite. So, yeah, she agrees that Matt Smith sucks. It's just a no-brainer there. Yeah, I can't wait till Clever Dick Films does the review and analysis of the 11th Doctor. Oh, that'll be a Whew, that'll be a fun one. I'll have to really plan out that day. Uh, I did the Q&A video. Did get the background fixed, so I am happy for that. Though I still have to do some tweaking on it. It's not perfect, but it's all right for the time being. But it's not perfect. But just a few more modifications and tweaks, and I should have it ready to go, perfect and everything else. We had a lovely little ice storm that rolled through here yesterday, which froze the car over before I had to go to work. And I'm like, well, I texted my boss the day before on Thursday, and I'm like, well, what is our plan for, this winter weather that's headed this way? And she's like, well, we'll play it by ear. If you don't think you can make it, let me know. And I'm like, okay. So then I wake up and I'm like, I was hearing rain, and I'm like, okay, it's rain. I'm like, watch it be freezing rain. Yeah, it was freezing rain. My God, did it give a freaking deluge. My mom said that within 15 minutes, she looked out at like 11 o'clock. Within like 15, 30 minutes, the car was completely frozen solid. And I'm like, of course it was. In the back of my mind, I'm like, of course it was. So I'm out there scraping ice off the windshield. I turn the car on. Now, to be fair, this car was given to us by a family member. I swear they knew that this heater didn't work and the defrost don't entirely work. I mean, they function, but you're running this massive risk whether or not it's going to work or not. And I'm like, this isn't going to work. 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 I'm like, well, at least I'll have the car running a bit so I can get in and I can go right away. Oh my God, did the heater not kick on and the defrost not kick on? I'm like, thank you. And I had them blowing out at max to try to help warm the car from the inside, to help thaw the ice from the inside as I'm hitting it from the outside. And I drove to work. I got a text from my boss literally as I'm getting ready to pull out of the front yard. And it's like, yeah, my car's frozen over. I'm trying to get in there. I'm like, okay, well, I'm just leaving now. It's like I got one half of the issue done. I got the car started. I got the car started, de-iced a bit. I'm like, I'm gonna head on in. It was still the matter of, can I get in there yet? I'm like, this is gonna be fun. So I go in. Now, to be fair, I beat her by I want to say 15, 20 minutes, because till I got the car, the ice off the windshield, off my window, off the passenger window, and off the back window, so I could at least see. It's like, okay, it was going to like 4:30. I'm like, all right. So I'm thinking to myself, we're both going to be late either way, and I'm not technically late until she clocks in because I don't have a key to get in. So, I'm not technically going to be late. And as I'm going down, I'm like, okay, this is fine. This is fine. I get in. I get into work, pull into the parking lot, and I'm like, it's like nothing in here. The ground's just wet. So then I'm like, okay, so when I'm out there and I'm banging on, the ice to get the rest of it off the car, my gloves were soaked to the bone because of this. But I got the ice off the car. The rest of the ice was gone. Scraped it. I just pushing it off the windshield, because by then the car was warm on the inside that it melted enough of it that I could just push it around and it would break. So I'm like, yes, that was perfect. But the sad part though is that I look over to the left, and now I had to go to work on Monday. We had this. There's been this Toys R Us cart, this old Toys R Us cart sitting out in the parking lot for the last 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks, and I brought it in with. I went out and got it on Monday because we needed a hand moving a lot of stuff, and I'm like, well, there's a giant Toys R Us cart out in the parking lot. Let's just go get that. So we grabbed my boss opens up the door. I go out. We grab that, bring it in. And I'm like, say hello to our newest employee, and I named him Grimace. And first off, we loved Grimace. Grimace was a goddamn hard worker. Got a lot of the stuff, out. Was able to store a lot of stuff in it to move around from one spot to the next. It was a great little workhorse. Kept finding its way outside. We're not supposed to have it. And finally, it was out there in the ice storm. It was frozen solid, and I'm like, God damn it, Grimace, no. It's like they just killed Grimace. I was a little upset by that. I'm still hurt by it, actually, so that was painful to me. But otherwise, it's been a pretty uneventful week. Like I said, I did get the Q&A up. If you haven't checked that out, it's up. I'm trying my damnedest to get the Adventures of Bob Bastard to even record right. I have had like one or two issues. One issue that I had, I didn't allude to this on Twitter, but I had a crashing issue with the one screen recorder, which really pissed me off, where the game would just like freeze up entirely. And I'm like, son of a bitch. I was like getting really pissed off. I have been trying to get this recorded now for, I want to say, a good 2 weeks. It's been pissing me off. I've been like running through every possible solution I can come up with. I've been looking online for solutions. I've been reaching out to people for solutions. So I'm still working on it. I haven't got it up yet. I'm still working on it. Because I figure somebody out there that does like streaming of games could give me an idea of what I'm doing wrong. I'm trying my damnedest here, so there is that. But otherwise, it's been an uneventful week for the most part. But let's get into the podcast, so it's going to be a fun podcast, folks, I can guarantee it. All right, so let's just start this thing off with the possible nuclear reactor here. So there's apparently a live-action Beyblade movie in the works. And I brought this up to my mom yesterday because I'm just like, I'm like trying to figure this out in my head. I'm like, how in the hell would this work? And I could got nothing. And I said something to my mom. I'm like, okay, so let me run this by you. I said, you remember Beyblade, right? I collected those. I had a bunch of those. Right when it first came out, I ended up getting a few of them. Like about a month or two later, I started getting them. And I'm like, okay, this isn't too bad. So she remembered them. I'm like, okay, you remember Beyblade? She goes, yeah. I said, okay. I said, they're making a live-action Beyblade movie. And she's trying to figure this out, too. It's like, how in the hell would that work? And I'm like, I don't know how that would work. I'm trying to figure that out myself. So I'm like, these are the things that you stick them in the launcher, you pull the ripcord, and they go down into this little stadium, and centrifugal force, basically, has them beat the crap out of each other. So explain to me how this will make a good live-action movie. And she's like, I don't know how that would make a live-action. I don't know how you'd make a live-action movie out of that. I don't either. But Jerry Bruckheimer is reportedly developing a live-action movie with Paramount Pictures based on the popular Beyblade toy franchise. Popular would now be an understatement. I kind of think Bakugan got a little more popular than Beyblade. God help us if we ever get into a Bakugan live-action movie. Holy God, that'd be horrifying. That would be horrifying. According to Deadline, though, Jerry Bruckheimer, the blockbuster producer behind the likes of Top Gun, Bad Boys, and Pirates of the Caribbean, yeah, that's a good trilogy there. Wow, that's a good set of credentials. Top Gun is hated by a lot of people now. My one friend hates it because they played it when she worked retail at the TVs. They had it on all the time. I hate it because I think it sucks. Bad Boys I never got into. And as far as Pirates of the Caribbean are concerned, all I remember is Jack Sparrow acting like a drunk Jack Sparrow. So basically Johnny Depp acting like himself at a frat party. That's how I remember Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm sorry. But yeah, this exact guy, Jerry Bruckheimer, for those of you that don't know, I'm pretty sure he has a pretty long list of other achievements. Why you would name these three on this, I would not bring to mind. I'm pretty sure there's a longer list of achievements out there somewhere that has his name on it that would be a much better use of the time. Yes, but we'll be overseeing a feature film based on the best-selling Beyblade spinning tops, which were originally developed by Japanese firm Takara in the late 90s, before being licensed by several different toy companies such as Hasbro. Yes, Hasbro. Where things go to either get great, stay mediocre, or die. It's Hasbro. Our Man movie writer Neil Widener? Yeah, and Gavin James are both reportedly scripting the Beyblade feature, but plot details are being kept under wraps for now, as the film is only said to be in the early stages of development. Please tell me this is gonna die. How do you make this? I'm sorry. How do you make this a live action? How do you do live action in this? Somebody explain to me how you do live action in this. I want to know. How do you make this into a live action? This is literally you stick a top on there, you pull it out, and it spins. How do you do this? How do you? This would almost be like making a live action Yu-Gi-Oh with a dual disc, and you're gonna have CGI monsters in there. And it's like, oh wow, so you're basically doing the anime, which is what a lot of people want. Better yet, in all honesty, Konami can actually do that with Yu-Gi-Oh. Just get like a, have like a actual dual center set up, have this, 3D-ish sort of looking thing, and have CGI monsters in there. I mean, look, we have Hatsune Miku doing 3D concerts, for God's sake. This would be very easy to do, and that would really boost sales of tournaments. I mean, they want me to flesh out the idea for them. I'm more than happy to. But this is this is insanity. I want to say this is insanity. If I were still doing raid videos, believe me, this would be on the top of my list. But the idea of a Beyblade movie has been explored in the past, specifically in 2015, when Paramount acquired the rights to the property, having already turned Hasbro's Transformers and G.I. Joe toy lines into feature franchises. Yeah. That project, though, was to be produced by Mary Parents Distribution Entertainment, but that thing pretty much fell silent and just dropped off the radar pretty much after announcement. Yeah, remember, folks, the live-action Transformers movies were hit and miss. I will say the first two weren't bad. Dark of the Moon started to suck. I want to say it was a good way to wrap up the story of Witwicky. It was a good way to kind of bring everything full circle, but it could have been better. Even dragging Leonard Nimoy into there to voice Sentinel Prime just did not sell it enough for me. I could tolerate it. It's, if you want to have like all three of the Transformers movies, the first three, the good ones, it's a worthwhile watch to conclude everything, but I kind of feel like it limped to the barn. As far as everything after that, forget it. Age of Extinction sucked. The fourth one sucked. You started dragging Mark Wahlberg into this because you're like, hey, I'm pretty much sure that, we're dragging you into this. You know you're screwed. There's no other option there. But Beyblade was licensed outside of Asia in 2002 and attracted interest, acclaim in the ensuing years. Yeah. The franchise, like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, and Bakugan properties. Bakugan came after this. I remember Bakugan coming after this. Sorry, I remember Bakugan coming well after Beyblade. Beyblade was dead in the water pretty much. I think they were on that Bay Wheels when Bakugan was really, making its own. They were on to Bay Wheels and that Beyblade Shogun crap. So, excuse me for a moment while I say, the fuck? Bakugan was after Beyblade. But then found even greater mainstream success by pairing an anime series with the toy. You're just spewing this out your ass, right? It found even greater success? You're joking. I'm pretty sure the toy came first, obviously, then the anime. Or the anime was based on the concept of the toy, and it's like, oh, look, this is why it works. This is literally the chicken and the egg scenario. And by the way, this is an IGN article that I'm literally reading from, so take this with a massive grain of salt, if you will. Because the person that wrote this is a freelance writer for IGN. So, I mean no disrespect to Adeline Anchors here, but, first off, I want to get this. First off, Pokemon Yu-Gi-Oh! Came out before Beyblade. That's true. That is true. Because Pokemon was out in Japan beforehand. Yu-Gi-Oh! Was out in Japan beforehand. Bakugan, I'm pretty sure, came after Beyblade. I'm almost certain of it. Yeah. And then found even greater mainstream success by pairing an anime series with the toy. I'm kind of thinking it was the other way around. But sure, we'll go with that. Whatever. It worked for a while, but eventually ran out of momentum. Yeah, no shit. I mean, look, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon work still because they can ever evolve and change with the times. You can introduce new gimmicks, you can introduce new, mechanics, you can introduce for Pokemon new creatures, for Yu-Gi-Oh! New characters, new synopsises, new gameplay mechanics. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is basically you can play the show at home. With Pokemon, it's, oh look, it's the adventures of the little things that are in my pocket on my, game system. When it comes to Bakugan and Beyblade, and I'll even throw like the Bay Wheels, and there was another god-awful one. Monsuno. Well, yeah, I'll throw that one in there too. When it comes to these, the issue that you have is now no longer the, well, this'll work concept. It's the, oh, how do we improve this? We don't. All right, fuck it, kill it. I mean, with Beyblade, you have, what was it? There was Beyblade. I know there was a couple Game Boy Advance games for it. I think there was like one GameCube one. And let's be honest here. They weren't the world's greatest. They were good. They were good. They were good. Don't get me wrong. They're worth like an afternoon. You basically, you're getting what you pay for. Though, honestly, if you really want to make the Beyblade game for the Game Boy Advance the one really, playable, and I do want to say playable, get yourself the cheat code for Infinite Spin. That's the only way you're going to make that playable. Otherwise, you're going to run out of momentum once you get like 2 hits. You're going to be out of momentum. That's it. You want to actually play, you actually want to do that well, get the cheat code for Infinite Spin. That at least gives you, I'm sorry to say it, that at least gives you a chance. You're supposed to be this badass. And it's like, oh yeah, no, 2 hits, 2 freaking hits can end you. Going up an incline can end you. You're supposed to be this all-powerful creature. No, screw that. Yeah. And it worked okay for a video game. Bakugan even worked well for a video game. There was a DS one that I really liked where it was sort of like a third person. You could actually battle with the, as the Bakugan, which is actually pretty cool. But as far as like other ones go, yeah, they're gonna run out of steam if you can't keep coming up with new gimmicks for it. Now with Bakugan, it had a decent run for how it was because it had the ability. They kept changing it up. We had, what was it? Mectanium Surge was the last one that I remember watching. Because you could introduce new gimmicks to it. You could introduce new things to it. They could recollect, the same little thing that they had already had. When it comes to, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, you don't really got to do much. That's literally like opening a casino. Just open the doors, turn on the lights, and get the fuck out of the way. For Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, it's open the doors, turn on the lights, occasionally come in and rearrange the furniture, and possibly change up the games, but don't do anything else. Just like move like the blackjack over to the corner and move the slot machines over to here. Just rearrange the layout a little bit. You don't got to do much. But with Bakugan, Beyblade, there's too much that had to be integrated into it over time. You could integrate new stories. I know we had the whole, the thing that I liked with the one, what was it, Gundalian Invaders, I think, was that they had the ability to combine like mech, like they create like a mech suit. You had Maxis Dragonoid, which was pretty cool. Those were interesting endeavors. And they paid off well in some instances. I remember getting Maxis Dragonoid between Christmas and New Year the one time because I think Walmart had it on clearance. It was like, it was not what it was supposed to be normally priced, and I'm like, I'm not passing this up. And I think I sold that then. Yeah, I did sell that because there was somebody on eBay. I was like, I'm going to put this up on eBay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I sold that one. But it was worth it, though. I mean, I think I actually got what I paid for back, and I still had fun with it, so I broke even. I not only had fun playing with it, but at the same time, I was able to sell it. What sucked, though, about it was that they made the toy not as great as the original. I kind of feel like they could have redid the design just a wee bit and made it a little better. But, of course, it's what you got. It's what you went to the barn with. But as far as a Beyblade movie, this would literally be like trying to make a live-action Yu-Gi-Oh! And that's basically just go to a Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament. This is by far the dumbest idea I think has ever been instigated for a live-action series based on an anime. So I'm honestly hoping this crashes and burns horrifyingly bad. I want it to crash and burn to the worst way possible. So crash, burn, burst into 1,000 little pieces. I don't care, but don't, and I mean don't, even bother. I hope this does not get anywhere past the early development, because I don't even know how you do a plot for this. What are you going to do? Well, you're going to have to do the CGI creatures when they come out of the Beyblade to battle. I mean, there's really nothing you can do about it. You're going to have to mix CGI and live action. And the thing is, you're literally going to be having it be a top. You're going to have to really pay those actors to really sell this. I guarantee you in a freaking table read for this is going to be like, well, here's the concept. You're going to be this hero that has to save the world using this spinning top that comes out of this. And you pull a ripcord. I'm what now? Yeah, you heard us. And the door's where again? Right over there. Hey, you go fuck yourselves. I'm out of here. I would not be surprised if it happens. I really wouldn't. Trust me, it would not surprise me. All right, let's just talk about this. So, when you're an anime fan, and you tell people you're an anime fan, they're instantly going to look at you and go, oh, so you like Dragon Ball Z, you like Bleach, you like, Yu Yu Hakusho, or One Piece. They're going to think mainstream. Then you're going to have a group of people that are going to say, oh, so you're into, like, the obscure stuff like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And you're like, yeah, no. Or, yeah, I kind of am. Then you're going to have a third group of people, and this is the group of people that I want to stress with this topic. They're going to think you're perverts. They're going to go, oh, so you're into, like, the characters with the overly proportioned bodies, or they're really young looking. Oh, so you're a pedophile, you're sick in the head. Or they're thinking that it's porn. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to being an anime fan. Made even worse by, and I want to say this, made even worse by claims like this. So, first off, there are times when even I am embarrassed to be an anime fan. There are times. There are times. I will not deny that. There are times where I am embarrassed to be an anime fan. It's not often. I want to stress that. It's not often, mind you, but there are times. However, this is just... I don't really want to say this is an embarrassment to be an anime fan, but at the same time, this is more of a... That's an interesting bit of trivia to know. Because you also have, like, those moments, even with, like, television shows, that, like, when the first ever color television program debuted, when the last ever black and white television program debuted, or, aired, when the final episode of this series happened, like, how many people were involved in this. There are moments that you kind of find interesting. So, of course, this can fall into interpret it as you will sort of category. But the mangaki, I should say, Hiro Oka, the creator of Gantz, took to Twitter to share really important information. Now you're thinking, new series or something. I'm taking a hiatus. I'm done. I'm retiring. What the hell's going on? The name of the man who allegedly, this was the real information. The information was the name of the man who allegedly debuted the now infamous anime breast bounce. Yeah, so whenever you see, two watermelons are jiggling, we get to thank this person. Now, whether or not this is true, it's going to be interesting. And the person we get to thank for that, okay? The first anime animator, that sounds like an oxymoron there, to introduce a breast bounce was Yoshiyuki Sadamoto. So Yoshiyuki Sadamoto. Apparently he told the Gantz creator himself that I did it. I was the very first one to ever do it. Woo! Okay! Cool! That's great! Thank you for making us all feel like we're basically worthless crap. Nice to know, though. But okay. So that's, that's apparently the first ever boob bounce in history of anime. Honestly, an interesting concept to realize. The image, though, that Oku shares is of 1983's Daikon 4, the opening short, which Sadamoto worked on. Here's what the scene looked like in action. You can actually pull up, it's a nice little GIF. The bounce in question happens literally at the end of it after the bunny girl, basically throws the robot and kind of does this victory. Yes, I kind of did it. Sort of jump. Yeah. Since this short, though, Sadamoto went on to work as the character designer for Evangelion, The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, Summer Wars, and Wolf Children, among others. By the way, three really good series listed on here. One good series and 2 damn good movies. The Girl Who Leapt Through Time and Summer Wars are 2 of my all-time favorite movies to ever watch in anime, hands down. Evangelion is not a bad series. Just don't ever watch the end of Evangelion. I think the series ended it better. I'm sorry. And as far as Wolf Children, I never watched it, so I can't really give an issue on it. But Sora News 24 translated some of the replies to the tweet. Quote, a historic moment. I'd heard a rumor that one of his nicknames was Breast Bounce Sadamoto. Looks like it was well-deserved. And so Sadamoto is the father of the breast bounce. Well, that's the Gunbuster animation director for you. There you go. I thought that name sounded familiar. Gunbuster. It must have given everyone who was there for the screening a serious sensation. It was quite the eureka moment there, like when they first discovered Viagra. It was quite the eureka moment. It was created to help with, hypertension and whatnot. It's like, yeah, well, I feel okay, but holy crap! Yeah, it was quite the eureka moment there, folks. I love that. Must have given everyone who was there for the screening a mysterious sensation. What am I feeling? Ooh, this is wrong. Sorry, I gotta keep this channel for teens and adults. I'm sorry. So I have to add stuff in like this, but definitely though. I mean, holy crap. That was a good one though. Let's give everyone a mysterious sensation. Others, though, pushed back at the proclamation, though, that Sadamoto was the first animator in Japan to make a woman's breast bounce as she moved. Yeah, I could see there being an argument with this. Someone insisted that breast bounces in anime go back to the 1960s with Seinen Bukura, translated as Herman Village. And I do apologize if I'm mispronouncing anything, names, or if anybody or things. I do apologize. But it was translated as Hermit Village, though proof was not shown. It was also pointed out that you can see breasts bounce in Walt Disney's 1928 short Bright Lights. Well, in all honesty, if you actually watch a lot of the early Disney crap, I'm pretty sure you can see certain articles of a body moving. Seriously, there's an entire scene where Belle dances with the Beast. You have Cinderella. I'm pretty sure when they breathe, something has to move. The last time I checked, the human body does not take in air via osmosis. I have to do... Hold on a second. Listen. See, that's me breathing. I'm pretty sure that's... Sorry, I'm pretty sure that this is how it happens. So something has to happen. Like, my chest has to go up and down to breathe in because it's called the diaphragm. You have to be able to breathe. It has to expand the lungs. Where are the lungs located? Well, I don't know about you, but my lungs are not located in my ass, in my thighs. They're not located in my arms. They're located in the chest. And that means that anything inside of it has to expand. It's the human body, folks. Go back to high school. I'd say go back to elementary school, but in this case, you really need to learn anatomy. Go back to high school. But while Disney may have beaten anime to it, keep in mind, any animation would have beaten it. I'm pretty sure Betty Boop moving around in black and white would have beaten this. They're going in Japan. In Japan. Not in the world. In Japan. I'm not talking about it's anime. Disney is not anime. Disney is animation. That is pure animation. There's a difference. That's cartoon. This is anime. Disney's cartoon. This is anime. We're talking anime. Okay? I want to stress that. We're talking anime. We're not talking cartoons here. Yeah. But Oku's comment, though, concerns when anime got into the action, like I just stated. Others discussed their own confusions about the first, with one person remarking, I thought Nausicaa, the Valley of the Wind was the first, but that didn't come out until a year after Daikon 4. Seriously? Yeah. So while Oku's words may not be officially fact-checked, but it has a lot of people wondering and probably rewatching older anime to see if he's right. Look, figure it this way. You managed to get people to watch older anime just so that they can come and tell you to go f*** yourself. I would consider that a massive success. I'd be like, hey, remember when I put out that comment that said that you created the first ever breast balance in anime? That's got people rewatching some older stuff. The sales for it are skyrocketing. You're still getting royalties, right? Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. That's what I would do. But yeah, I mean, I will never get over that, though. I'm just giving everybody a mysterious sensation. But yeah, it's literally just, she flips a robot. Like, she picks it up from the foot, flips it over, and chucks it on the thing, and then just does, like, this victory little bounce. Wow! That's all it is. And we're now, this is like that, is it blue or gold? Is it, this or that? Or that freaking football, Super Bowl commercial. Do you eat your mixed nuts all at once or one at a time? This is one of those, do we really care? Do we care? I don't know. Has it become a mainstay? It's called fan service. People just deal with it. I'd be like asking, what was the first time you ever saw, certain characters dressed a certain way? Who did it first? I mean, for the love of God. It's almost as bad as, like, I was saying this to my mom. You realize that way back in the 1800s, just seeing an ankle was enough to freaking titillate people. They're like, oh my God, I saw an ankle. Oh, I saw an ankle. Oh, I saw an ankle tonight. Yeah. Fast forward a couple decades. Fast forward almost a century and a half later. Now you're in high school. To quote Lewis Black, it is a softcore porno prison. Basically, you're there for 4 years. And that got, if people back in the 1800s would be in high school today, I'm pretty sure they would have had a heart attack by now. Be like, ah! Be like, wow, this person must have died of time. No, we showed them Rum Shaker 3 online. Oh my God, Rum Shaker 3? Dear God, they never had a chance. Nope, they were dead in 3 seconds. It was, whew, I didn't think it was going to happen. They were dead in 3 seconds. It was just, damn. But I just find it interesting, though, that now we anime fans have something that we can argue about. When was the first time it happened? It's funny in a cosmic sort of way, but at the same time, it's just disturbing. But still interesting nonetheless. Well, what do you think? That was the first one. Do you have a thought? Let me know. You never know. You might be right. They might be wrong. Who knows? All right. So how many of you out there, like me, play mobile games? Either for fun or you really put the investment in. Like, you're willing to drop your allowance into these games for, the really El Cheapo, Chinso, Shito pulls that they give you. Well, mobile gaming is the largest segment of gaming by revenue. Oh, you bet your ass. Microtransactions aside, they make a shit ton of cash. Yet it's also one of the most misunderstood by self-identified gamers. I know this firsthand. By the way, I'm literally reading off the article from Kotaku at this point. And I do agree with that. I do know that firsthand, too, that we are, heavily misunderstood. They playing games, frequently, blah, blah, on PC or console. Yeah, you got gacha games. They're mechanically fun, where you basically have to try to get your hands on this really rare, pull, this really rare drop. That does happen. And basically, that's literally like the pull for like most freemium games. Look at Puzzles and Dragon. That's basically an overglorified gacha game. One Piece Treasure Cruise. That's a gacha game. Mech Warriors Arena that I play. That's a gacha game. There are a large amount of those because you want to try to get the one good character or the one good weapon or the one good, item, and you might have a chance for it. Yeah. But yeah, so this is an interesting thing, though. There are people out there, despite being popularized, despite the popularity being mangled, though, as casual, many mobile gamers, they track in-game events. I mean, obviously, that's true. I mean, there's entire YouTube channels. There's a YouTube channel dedicated to One Piece Treasure Cruise. There's an entire YouTube channel dedicated to Contest of Champions. There's one dedicated to Mech Warriors Arena. One dedicated to Puzzles and Dragons. They track in-game events, min and max using custom tools, and study the tactics of streamers. They improve their gaming prowess. They think about games on a strategic level, and I mean a deep strategic level. And the games they are playing require just as much investment as the games played by mainstream console players. So you think, oh, well, I'm just going to go online and play some, Call of Duty and do some massive maps and just whoop people's asses. I'm just out here casually having fun. There are people that are like, okay, so we're going to do a pincer maneuver. You come in from the left, you come in from the right, and I'll go straight up the middle. We'll just take them all at once. We'll never see it coming. Right. We just flank them all at one time right at the start of the match. I mean, even when I play Mech Warriors Arena, I kind of have a strategy of like, okay, go one direction first. Then if that doesn't work, go the other direction when the game, when you get to the next round. I have different strategies picked out depending upon which, direction the game goes. And so does the opponents. It's basically which one of you are going to get it first. There's the thing. This is because fully leveling a character, though, in a gacha game can take anywhere from weeks to months. It's true. That is true. Unless, of course, you build up a crap ton of items that are, like, quick to level them up. Then it doesn't take as long. But you really have to be like, yeah, I'm just in here getting my freebies. I don't have the time to play it today. And it just builds up over time. Or you do a lot of the events that, hey, we're guaranteeing like X amount of experienced dragons or something. It builds up. Definitely, though, it does take a lot of time and effort. And it's always fun, though, too, when you get the... it always gets fun, though. It's common for one type of material to only be farmable on Mondays, a different type of material on Tuesdays, so on and so forth, ad infinitum. Genshin Impact is definitely a good example of this. And there's a player that created their own spreadsheet for raising their characters. Each character only has 2 abilities, which makes the game look deceptively straightforward. It's not. Characters have unique synergies with other party members. Characters can be a bit difficult with the use of equipable artifact sets. Building powerful characters in Genshin is about as much long-term playing as about skilled button mashing. Yeah, you really got to put the effort into this. Quote, I keep my own spreadsheet that I made, which is color-coded, and it's got all my characters and their levels and their current progress with talents. upgrade materials needed for each character and weapons. And then it has a second page with their artifact sets, which lets me get all the stats. Just looking at it all in one place. Just looking at it all in one place, I get a really clear sense of where I'm lacking. And that's just one game. This works for a lot of things. Like, I'll use Puzzles and Dragons for a good example here. You can max out your character. You can, fix it up so that, okay, they're maxed out. You can limit break them. You can level up their skills. You can give them an assist character that'll also give them different skills. You can give them certain abilities from the Tamadaras that are decent. Like, you could have one that, hey, you can break, you can extend your your time limit for how long it is to match up the orbs. You can do this and that. There's a lot of, configuring in this. And it breaks it down very easily. Now, of course, you're going to get people that are like me that be like, okay, I create a team that I kind of feel like, okay, this is the team that I can do for pretty much anything. If I don't feel like I really want to invest in trying to get an item or trying to get a drop, this is my go-to team. And for me, it's the team that I always use, just like that. Then I have certain ones that I made based on the event sets. Like, I have an entire Power Rangers team. I have an entire Kamen Rider team. Then there's ones that I have because, hey, I felt like making just a random group of people that I drag together. I actually have an entire team set up specifically, in my game at least, specifically to get better drop rates. Because two of the characters have an ability that when they're in battle, you're guaranteed a drop from the enemies. And it takes it up depending upon, the difficulty. So I'm like, yeah, and if I'm trying to get like a rare item or I'm trying to get some of the items in it, I'm going to take that team in. And granted, it's not the most powerful team, but I kind of make up for it in the long run with different abilities and stuff like that. But it does work. So it's just a matter of, getting everything down right. But there's like a whole bunch of other ones though in here. It's fun though. But there's like a fan-made calculator that can be used for different games. There's one called Ace Ship where you can use one. There's a lot of farming stages for materials. Yeah, there's just a lot of fun stuff to do with this stuff, to do with these games. And when a lot of people play these, the kicker is, it's interesting because you have like a whole slew of people that they're going to take the time and effort. They're going to invest into this. They're going to go, all right, so this is what my character stats are when they start off. Or like me, you'll go, okay, so this is what the character stat is at max. Okay, so that's what I'd be looking at, maximum power. This is what I'd be looking like if I do it with this and this. For me, it's like, okay, so this is what it is when they're maxed out at their full level. Because you can kind of see like a preview if it's like a drop rate of what the character will be like at full power. So there's no guarantee that you're going to get that same character because you could end up making it different. You could end up going, okay, I'm going to give it this, this, and this, and that could, skew it just slightly. Or it could be like, okay, so this is what it's set for by the game creators, but by adding in like an assist character and doing like limit break and doing this and this, I can make it technically a little stronger. So there's no guarantee that I'm going to be, this exact character, but this is the base max level you can get. Then there's next stage max level, and then the next stage after that. I do appreciate a lot of the people out there that put up the guides and put out stuff like this because they're sharing this with the other players. Like, look, you don't have to read it if you don't want to. It's one of those interesting concepts. You don't have to read it if you don't want to. We're going to put it out here. If you want to make your characters a little stronger, go for it. I mean, I frequent the Puzzles and Dragons website constantly if I'm trying to figure out like what character I'm looking for. Like, hey, where do I find this one item? I remember the one time I was trying to figure out how to get the dragon to drop. There was a specific dragon that you could get, a specific character, but you had to get it at a specific time. And I could never figure out what the time was. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to look it up. And I looked it up, And finally, the one person's like, "Oh yeah, it can be at this time, this specific time," and I'm like, "Okay." So then I did the math, and I'm like, "Okay, I still didn't figure that out." So then I had to put in because it was a Japanese game, so it's Japanese to so Japanese Standard Time to Eastern Standard Time. I'm like, "Oh, okay, so it's right about now." So I go in, I got the character. I actually did manage to get it. In fact, I still have it. And I was shocked at that. I'm like, okay, so this does work. But there's like certain barriers, like, okay, so you need to have this item with this item and this item to get this. And a lot of people don't know that. They just collect the stuff at random. It's like, well, hey, I got this really cool thing, but I don't know what to do with it. Oh, you need that for this, but you also need this, this, and this. Well, where do I get those? Well, here, I have a guide for it. No, just tell me. No, here's a guide. You might find something else you might want instead. So there are a whole bunch of cool things that can come from this. And you definitely can, rely too much on the guides, but at the same time, I mean, if you're relying too much on the guides, it means you're at least playing the game. You're taking the helping hand, and then eventually you might discover a better way to do it other than what the guide says. You could be like, hey, look, I followed the guide to the T, and as you're playing it for like the umpteenth time, all of a sudden you can see, hey, I could change up, I could do it this way and get the same result. I think I'll do that. And you get the same result, but you did it different from the guide. But the guide gave you the helping hand to point you in the right direction. Now, it's whether or not you want to keep following that path, or if you want to say, hey, look, there's this little dirt road. I'm going to take that and see where that leads. It takes me right here, and I didn't have to go through all that crap in the middle. Hey, I like that. Yeah. Most people, though, usually play for like a couple hours, though, with mobile games, so it's just part of their daily routine. You build up like a streak of items and stuff like that, what have you. But yeah, it's an interesting concept. You can read the whole article on here. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. It's freaking long. But there's a lot of people, though, that have, I'm going to say this, the one thing with mobile games, they do have a very bad reputation, and that is courtesy of the microtransactions. You have, and there are games where this is a massive issue. I will throw Yu-Gi-Oh! Into this. I will throw, ironically, I'll throw Contest of Champions into this too. And there's a few other ones where you're using the almighty credit card to pretty much piss whip your way through this game. You're not putting the time or effort into making your character stronger. You're not learning unique little combos you can do with your characters. Like this character and this character can work really well together. If I have this ability on this character and this ability on this character, then I can have them work in really good synergy with one another to do this. You're not doing that. What you're doing instead is, well, I'm just going to use the credit card, buy the, in-game item, and then just make my character stronger that way. Screw all this. And that's the sad truth about it. But at the same time, it is interesting, though, how people can really become hardcore strategists from this. And it's interesting to me. So, yeah, if somebody ever tells you that gaming's a waste of time and effort, and I know that there's been many people out there, you had Joe Rogan that did it, you can look right at him and go, no, it's not. Aside from hand-eye coordination from console games, where you're watching the screen and your mind's telling your hands exactly where to go on the controller, and you're not even in the slightest looking down at that controller, and you're focusing purely on what's happening on the screen, and you know exactly where to go because your mind is basically perfect. Yeah, it's figuring out where to go with this. Like, okay, and like you have it down perfect. That's hand-eye coordination, which is that's a really good skill. You can get that doing sports too. But it comes in really handy both ways. You can get that from playing video games. You can become a hardcore strategist. Because if you think about it, stuff like this, where you're keeping track of events, you're keeping track of what goes well with what, you're keeping track of this, that could help you out in wanting to be like a chef. That could help you out in wanting to be a lawyer, an accountant, somebody that sells stuff professionally, that creates things and sells them to others. Because you're like, okay, so this worked with this, but this didn't work during this time. That works out really well for future endeavors down the road. So don't sell yourself short thinking that you're, just some casual gamer and people are saying that, oh, well, what you're doing is a waste of time. No, it's not, because you're actually gaining a skill that can be very helpful down the road. You just don't realize it. Till you actually sit down and think about it, you don't realize it. Make it like a game, and it will pretty much come in handy. But yeah, you can read the whole article in the description. It's a well worth it to read. It's a well worth it read, basically. But it's good, and I agree with it. I really do. All right, so stop me if this sounds like the Kool-Aid Man for a moment. But remember when every time you go, oh yeah, or you go, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh yeah. Yeah, the Kool-Aid Man just bursts through your wall. Hey, guess what? If the Kool-Aid Man would steal Pokemon cards, it could represent this character from what I have to admit is one of the stupidest things I have read online, but definitely shows you the current trends of the time. So stealing Pokemon cards is sad enough as it is. It's one of the main reasons why a lot of stores are keeping the trading cards behind locked doors, where you actually have to get an employee to come over and unlock it like video games, which is sad. It really is. But it's doubly pathetic. I have to agree on this. When said thievery impacts a locally owned small business like the Forest Lake, Minnesota's Punch Out Gaming. Because on February 10th, the game and card shop was robbed in an unusual manner as the thief busted through a sidewall in the back of the store after coming through the shop next door and ended up getting away with around $250,000 in cash and rare Pokemon cards. Holy shit. So basically it's like, oh yeah, where's the cash? Kool-Aid! I mean, this is just horrifying. Like a lot of collectors markets, though, Pokemon cards have seen a particularly huge boom during the pandemic. Sought-after cards previously resulted in altercations at Targets and other locations, leading to the temporary halting of sales in some stores. Yeah, Pokemon cards blew up in popularity because, one, people needed the money, they were unemployed, and two, hey, look, I have this really rare card. Let me put it up online, see what it's worth. Hello! Yeah, it just skyrocketed, and it's still going. There's a lot of trading cards that are worth a lot of money. It's one of those, the bubble hasn't burst yet, but the thing is, they keep unearthing more cards, and when you put them out there, somebody's going to want to seek it for their collection and be like, yeah, I'll give you this much for it. Sweet, let's do this, and there you go. So it's still growing yet. I think it's finally hit what baseball cards were for the longest time, and that baseball cards finally took a back seat, unless it's like really rare cards. The camera surveillance system caught the thief snatching Pokemon cards over the course of nearly 2 hours. 2 hours? You were a pathetic robber. 2 hours? Took you 2 hours? 2 hours? Despite the fact that his master is a pathetic disguise, he's yet to be caught at the time of the writing of this article. Kool-Aid! 2 hours! You were a pathetic... First off, you are a pathetic thief. If it takes you 2 hours... 2 hours! You are a pathetic thief. I used to watch a show called It Takes a Thief, where these two former thieves who are now they're rehabilitated. The one actually does do consultant work for like security companies, and the other one's a school teacher. They would go around and show you how you think you're safe. You ain't safe as shit. Like, you ain't safe at all. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. And it's like basic concepts. But the thing with them is they're in and out of that place in like 10 minutes. They are in and out within 10 minutes, and they have a good chunk of the stuff in their hands. And none of it was set up either, because a lot of the times they did not know it was coming. Now, granted, the one did, but they were doing it as a special episode. But a majority of the time, it's like, look, you're completely unsuspected. They didn't know what the hell was going on. And in fact, to be the one guy, because the one guy actually was inside doing the thievery, the other one was usually sitting out in the van, keeping track of it, watching everything happen. The one time literally did it, the person was in the goddamn house on a freaking office computer, completely, unoblivious to what was going on. And they get brought out to the van thinking that, okay, so it's happening now so I can see what's going on. And it's like, you guys were already in here? Yeah, We were in here while you were on the computer. You didn't even know we were here. Yeah. And that's how you do it. But when you take 2 hours, you're a pathetic thief. You are a pathetic thief. I'm sorry, 2 hours, you're pathetic. But Punch-Out Gaming co-owner Jason Peterson told KARE11, or KARE11, that he felt numb watching the video, and another owner, Eric Johnson, believes someone else must have been involved in the robbery. After all, that's a lot of product to move in a relatively brief amount of time. 2 hours is not brief. Did I not say it said 2 hours? It said 2 hours. That's not brief. That's not brief at all. 2 hours, that's enough time for you to sit down, make yourself some food, put your feet up on a couch, take a crap in their toilet, and still get out of there with their shit. That's pretty much like, hey, look, I watched Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I made myself a sandwich, took a crap in your toilet, slept in your bed for 10 minutes, and I'm still walking out of here with $50,000 worth of your crap. Come on. 2 hours is not a brief amount of time. Johnson went on to say, I realized how much money, product, and time we put into it, and I just started crying. I can't recover this product because our distributors don't have any. So even with the insurance money, that doesn't do us any good. That's true. A lot of the Pokemon cards, people can't get their hands on them right now. The distributors are basically, they can't send them out fast enough. They can't print them fast enough. As if they print them too fast, then you're going to have saturation of the market, and they don't want that. Yep. It isn't going to deter Punch-Out Gaming though in the long run. It's just an unfortunate setback. Local customers have shown an outpouring of support since the incident, and Peterson says we're really going to keep going forward, reinvent, and come back. Might I suggest you look into buying a I'm just going to say a motion sensor alarm. That sounds like the QE2 when somebody goes through. It's like, okay, the alarm's set. All right. Now let's see somebody walk in. That'll scare the shit out of them. They'll run. Like, oh my God, it's going to alert the neighbors. Holy shit, what the hell? Have it that it shakes the ground. I guarantee you'll have the cops there. Be like, what the hell? There's an earthquake at the game shop. Oh my God, somebody's broken in again. Better yet, get like there was like a really good way to word this. Invest in a sort of like covering. There is this like mesh covering that you can get for walls that doesn't go very far, but it's impervious to fire. You can't cut through it, and even if they do manage to get through, it's going to leave jagged, sharp edges that they're going to get sliced up just going through it. And you can just like have it attached to your wall, and then you can like put like a piece of drywall right over it, and you never notice it. But yeah. But there is a number, though, in here if you do happen to recognize the person and you live in Minnesota. Was it Minnesota? Yes, if you live in Minnesota and you happen to recognize Discount Kool-Aid Man here, please give the police a call. There is a number in the article. I'm not going to say it here for YouTube reasons, but you can find it in the article. Get in touch with the Forest Lake Police Department with any information. First off, I hope you get caught. 2 hours! 2 hours! 2 hours! No, I hope you get caught. I hope you get caught. I hope you get caught. I really do. 2 hours! That's pathetic. Well, 250. She got $250,000 first off, but 2 hours. Come on, that's pathetic. Yeah, the part is, they walked right by the security monitor too in the picture. Like you see the security cameras, and they're walking right in front of it, looking right at the camera, like, "Oh shit, I'm on candid camera." Yeah, no shit, fucker, you're on candid camera. Smile. Take your mask off and smile. You're on candid camera. I find it hilarious. I can just see that now. Oh, I don't understand. I don't know that person. Yeah, the sad part is everybody's wearing masks now. Well, even still, there are still some people that are wearing masks. I guarantee you, all somebody has to do is cover up from like the nose down and go, I know you! Hey, I got him, he's over here! I found Discount Kool-Aid Man! Yeah, I guess the sale of Kool-Aid must be really going downhill. The Kool-Aid Man has to resort to theft to break it into game stores. It must be kind of sad. Oh my god, it's pathetic. But yeah, still funny as hell though. I have to admit, it is funny as hell. I hope you get caught though. I really do. I hope you get caught. I hope you get caught. All right, everybody, and that's going to do it then this week for the Absolutely Completely Random Podcast. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with me for the last hour or so. And until next time, I'm Andrew Rhodes. I'm checking out here. Don't forget, you can follow me over on Twitter, @OtakerRhodes. You can check out the official Web Designer 18 Facebook page. Don't forget to check out my eBay page, ARHOADS-2012 on eBay. And don't forget, we also have Patreon and Ko-fi for if you'd like to help support the channel. It's not going to impact us in any way, shape, or form. I'll still be doing this provided I'm able to, but, if worst comes to worst and I have to go away, well, don't worry about it. I'm trying to make, anything possible here. So, until next time, folks, I'm out of here. Catch us next time. Bye!